off a little bit?
My name's Lisa Younger. I'm from Creative Ectothermic Solutions, and today we're going to talk to you a little bit about invertebrates.
So, what are these?
Okay, so these are death-feigning beetles, which sounds scary, because sometimes when the word death is in something, people freak out immediately, but what it actually means is when you scare them, they play dead. So, they're kind of like the coffee table version of feigning goats. They eat less. They poop less. You can keep them in an open top fishbowl on your coffee table. And then they get back up and they just walk away. It's supposed to be a defense mechanism, but I think they actually taste bad because you can actually use them as bioactives with leopard geckos or with pictus geckos, and you might be able to with sand boas, though I've not done that myself. And they don't bite. We feed them, when we keep them alone, we feed them dog food and carrots and the occasional cucumber because it makes them happy. Okay, so these are Sonoran desert millipedes. You want to hold them? So, millipedes rather. Millipedes are really fun because they only eat dead matter. So these guys eat mostly dead wood, dead leaves. You can feed them aspen shavings. If you're keeping them at home, please do not feed them mammal shavings. Mammal shavings tend to be made of high resin woods because high resin woods repel insects, so they're bad for them. The other things to remember about millipedes is that when they feel threatened, they secrete a cyanide solution or a cyanide derivative, which is obviously poisonous. So don't lick your hands, wash them. If you're handling your millipede and it makes a little puddle of an orangey color, wash your hands. And then it's over. But the thing to remember if you handle them a lot is some of it stays on them and it will gradually poison them if you don't change their substrate. So either you don't handle them and you just leave them alone and it's fine, or you handle them and you change their stuff more often. They do. They kind of feel like Velcro. This is the best I can do. They feel like Velcro. This is a not very giant vinegaroon. It'll get a lot bigger. It's a young one. So vinegaroons are also called whip scorpions. Which I think is misleading. Because vinegaroons are cave arachnids. These front two things are classified as legs. It's actually where they get the name whip scorpion. They use them like a blind man. They do not bite, they don't pinch, they don't sting. Their only trick is they secrete a substance that smells like vinegar. And when you say whip scorpion, people start getting afraid of their little tails, and those are just antennae. So they're little predators, but since they don't pinch or sting or anything, what they actually do is they herd their prey into corners and then eat it alive, which is really metal, but they can't hurt you. Do you like them? They're pretty neat, aren't they? But this is an Asian forest scorpion. It is a leaf litter scorpion. They live on the forest floor in like Indonesia, Malaysia. They're probably a bunch of different species that if you have all of them you can differentiate between, but they're just all called the same thing in the pet trade. And they're like subtle differences, so I don't know what they are. But these guys have venom that's weaker than a bee's. If you get stung and you have to work to get stung, it leaves a little red dot for maybe a day or two. What they're more likely to do is pinch, which feels like a crawfish. Startling, but you're not damaged. It hurts, but it's not that bad. And frankly, I'm not excited about it anymore. I've seen my mother, you have a mother with babies and she's sitting on them in the corner. She'll put her fingers in the scorpion's claws. So, I gotcha. Take your hand up. They can go upside down. And there you go. And she'll actually pull them out of corners by getting them to pinch her. That is cool. The fun thing about Asian forest scorpions, obviously, is that you can handle them. And whenever I tell people that this scorpion's less venomous than a bee, that it's way more likely to pinch, suddenly they're like, oh, I thought scorpions were dangerous. It's like, well, yes, just not this one. So, just so we're clear, most scorpions hurt. And there are a couple of scorpions that can kill you. This one's just completely harmless. So I've got two tarantulas here. I have a tarantula we're going to hold and a tarantula we're going to look at. This is the one we're going to hold. So the one we're going to look at is not because it's not handleable, it's because it's expensive. This is a rather large Mexican redwood. And they're glorious little spiders. Can you walk? Can you show off?
Now I have this
It should slow right down after that. So this is an Arizona blonde. This is actually a pretty large Arizona blonde. It's either full grown or very close to it. They tend to be between 5 and 5.5 inches. Tarantulas are also measured like television, so it's corner to corner, not top to bottom or anything like that. The fun part about Arizona blondes is they all act just about like this most of the time. So they're extremely docile, they're slow moving. I'm not quite sure how they survive in the wild because they're so good natured. So with an Arizona blonde, you want to keep them in a minimum of a 5-gallon tank with deeper sub because they will dig. They're kind of opportunistic. If you put a burrow, they may not dig. They may, like a coconut shell, they may hide in the coconut instead of digging. We feed crickets. One of the weird things about Arizona blondes is they don't understand roaches. If you tried to feed them roaches, they won't eat them. They'll cohab. It's like they name them Fred and they decide they're going to live together forever. It's cute, but it's not really good for feeding. Arizona blondes and Mexican red knees are New World tarantulas, which means they have urticating hairs. When they feel threatened, they'll kick the hairs off their butt. They itch. That's it. Some people are like, oh no, they shoot hairs. It's like, no, they kick them and they float like dandelion fluff. There's It's not particularly threatening. It does itch though, particularly if you have like a large bird eater. It's so itchy. And a threat pose is when they lift the first 2 full sets of legs. So if they're just lifting up from here, it's not a threat pose. It has to be from here. Because the palps trick people. How long do they live? They can live up to 20 years. Mexican red knees, a female can live up to 35. They're the longest lived tarantula. Which is part of why they're so expensive. Thanks. No problem.
Another thing about the ornamental spiders is these are old world arboreals, so their venom's a little hotter. So you don't really want to be like poking them and making them come around and do this and do that.
Don't get too close, Connor, because it distorts the screen.
Mood happy. This one